Demographic and Socioeconomic Impact on Risk Attitudes of the Indian Investors, an Empirical Study. This article is written by two authors. First author Sandip Chattopadhyay. Last author Ranjan Dasgupta. Contribution and originality of the study is that this study is one of very few studies which have investigated investors' prominent demographic characteristics like gender, age, marital, social status, employment status, income status and educational qualifications to find out their respective role in influencing Indian investors' risk tolerance levels and thereby their risk attitudes. Investor behavior and investment activities are strongly influenced by the risk tolerance level of individual investors. International evidence suggests that lower risk tolerant investors are generally risk averse. However, their demographic characteristics and socioeconomic factors drive their risk attitudes. This study aims at investigating the critical role that age, gender, marital, social status, number of dependents, educational qualifications, employment and income status, savings pattern, future monetary planning, investments amount and returns from investments play in influencing risk tolerance and thereby finding whether the individual investors are risk averse or risk prone. To fulfill these objectives, 12 questions representing hypotheses were asked to 200 individual investors investing regularly in the Indian stock markets. A risk tolerance point scale is prepared to analyze the risk attitudes overall and each factor-wise, and a binary logic model is applied to validate these results. On an overall basis, this study finds that the respondent investors have a lower risk tolerance level which makes them highly risk averse. In line with the hypotheses drawn, this study proves that aged investors are more risk averse than their younger, inexperienced counterparts. Married investors with children and other dependents are more risk averse than their unmarried and with less dependents counterparts. Higher education brings risk tolerance attitude and thereby makes investors risk prone. Higher income and savings also decrease risk aversion, whereas future planning approach increases risk aversion. It is also found under this study that higher investments amount and returns from such investments increase the risk tolerance level and thus reduces risk aversion of these investors. However, contradictorily with the undertaken hypotheses, this study finds that women investors are more risk prone than their male counterparts, and employment status of the respondents is immaterial in regard to their risk attitude. Binary logic model results also mostly validate the above results except that it finds no impact of number of dependents, educational qualifications, employment status, FMP and investments amount on the risk tolerance levels of the respondent Indian investors. Thanks for watching this abstract video of Asian Economic and Financial Review Volume 5 Issue Number 4.